Sometimes the MVP conversation just needs a heck of a story to accelerate it. And we've been on this podcast talking about how much I love great stories. We had a thing about DJ Uyunglele a couple weeks ago and about his story being one of college football's better ones this season. But this one, we're going to go into the NFL realm. We're going to talk about Geno Smith. And I know you're going to hear me and go, Grayson, are you about to tell me that you think Geno Smith should be an MVP candidate? And I'm like, you're absolutely right. The Seahawks are 4-3. They're rolling right now. They're 5-3. Sorry, excuse me. They're rolling right now. I'm gonna give you some stats in a second, but I just want to kind of set the scene. All right, it's March or April. The NFL trades are booming. Free agency has just begun, and Russell Wilson is on the market to head off to Denver. Broncos country, let's ride, as we all know very, very, very well now. And it was between Geno Smith and Drew Lock. We were like, this is going to be the worst team in the NFL. This is the quarterback battle we're getting. Seattle did not draft a quarterback. They've actually drafted really well, and this is part of why they're so successful. Pete Carroll believed in Geno Smith. He won the quarterback battle, and he's been nothing but efficient. This is just a quarterback that has been dinking and dunking the entire season. He's had things to work with. He and DK Metcalf, he and Tyler Lockett be a quality Giants team on Sunday, and he controlled that game. He made some excellent reads, some excellent throws. This isn't the Geno Smith on the Jets that was making really poor decisions with the football. I remember as a little kid, I was watching the Patriots and the Jets play, and it was Geno Smith throwing interception after interception. There's promise there, or you can go even way back to when he played in West Virginia and he beat the Clemson Tigers 70-33 in the Orange Bowl, and him and Tavon Austin just ran through everybody. That was also a story for something. But Geno Smith's career, it's a lot of ups and it's a lot of downs, backup quarterback roles, kind of biding his time. He played under Russell Wilson, I believe it was last year, where he came in for a couple of games and kept them afloat to an extent. But he's really improved as a quarterback. He was like a sponge. He takes everything in. Pete Carroll, whatever article you go to, whatever Twitter feed you want to go to, there's nothing but positivity surrounding him. He hasn't given up. And I think week one, you started to fall in love with him. He had the quote, they wrote me off, but I didn't write them back. And you're just kind of like, yeah, yeah. And even if you want to say, Grayson, maybe MVP is a little too much, comeback player of the year, maybe more of a, probably a more fair assessment. But no, I want to go big or go home for this segment. So I just want to read you a couple statistics. They're 5-3. They just beat the 6-2 Giants, who 6-1 Giants were now 6-2. He's got a 72.7 completion percentage, which is one of the top in the NFL, with 13 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. It's a pretty good ratio, if you ask me. And it's not just purely, like I said, managing the game. And I'm not trying to make this grand thing that he should win the whole thing because there's quality candidates out there like Jalen Hurts or Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen. But I think the story really matters of where Seattle's been with Russell Wilson. And you also look at what Denver's doing right now. They're 3-5. They're struggling to move the ball on offense. And Seattle's almost like picked up an extra step with Geno Smith. They're buying in. He's become a fantastic leader for this team. The culture that is surrounded, it's like kind of Seattle's reinvented themselves and become a new team and a really fun team to watch. Yeah, Geno and them have had their moments, but it's also this learning curve that they had to take together. Uh, really excited about what Geno brings to the table. And that story really matters, guys. It really, truly matters of what we're talking about here. I know the Eagles are 7-0. I know the Bills are good. Surprise there. The Chiefs are good. Surprise there. But there's a really pure thing to this. And I think someone like Geno Smith, who's gone through so much with the NFL, who's ridden these ups and downs, it's almost like peaks and valleys. And it's finally he's reached that top. The Seahawks are 5-3 at their top of the division, which includes the Super Bowl champion Rams, who they've had their struggles, but there's a good team hiding in there somewhere. The 49ers, they're 4-4, and they got Christian McCaffrey, who's on the rise. That's a team that Seattle is on top of. They had the Cardinals, who have a ton of talent, which we're going to talk about in a bit, but nothing really to show for it. This Seattle team is more than just what they had. Their whole is greater than the sum of their parts, and Geno Smith is a part of that whole that's brought this together. 13 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 72.7 completion percentage. That's better than a lot of these quarterbacks in the league. He's playing better than Aaron Rodgers right now. He's playing better than Tom Brady right now. He's playing better than, I'd say, 75% of the quarterbacks. He took down Justin Herbert a couple weeks ago in LA. Granted, the Chargers' home environment isn't exactly hostile, but he's had some signature wins this season, and they've started to pick it up and put it all together. He had that shootout in Detroit against a Lions team that's a very proficient offense, so he's had to kind of carry the load too as well. So there's a lot of things you can go to as the Seahawks progress and as they kind of just trend to get better, that week one narrative, maybe they lose to Denver and that it kind of all falls apart, but there's that belief in that buying in where Geno has just rallied this team around him. And that's something that's worth watching and something that's really worth celebrating in my eyes if you're an NFL fan. So Geno Smith maybe is your MVP. Definitely should get some votes. All right, we're going to talk fire and ice in a second. I'm going to take a short break. We're going to talk about Robert Saleh, Mike McCarthy, Cliff Kingsbury, and we're going to talk about Josh McDaniels. And we're going to use 4 categories: freezing, cold, warm, and on fire. If you can guess who those are in the comments section, I'll give you a high five. But this is the Name of the Plan podcast, and we'll be right back.